Hello everyone, and I do hope that at the start of this new week you're feeling fine and bearing up well. I think we've all been given a lift by the announcement that the lockdown may be eased quite soon, and that's something exciting to look forward to. I think it helps us all a lot. Here we are at the back of the church, sheltering from the wind, which is pretty strong today. And of course we do hope that the church too will be able to reopen as soon as possible. It's good to start at the church for what's going to be a bit of an adventure today, because we're going to go round the parish a little bit. The church, of course, is at the very centre of a Christian worship, but it's absolutely at the heart of Christian faith that the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And that means that although the church is extremely important, Christianity doesn't just stop there. Our Lord Jesus came into the world, he was born, he grew up, he played with his friends, he worked as a carpenter, he laughed, he wept, he suffered and he died, and of course we believe he rose again. So he absolutely was involved in all the activities of the world. And we're going to try and show this a little bit today on a whistle-stop tour around the parish. Now, we have been rather caught out by the weather, so we do hope you're able to hear everything. If, as we go along, we can find some shelter for a little thought at each place. See you in a minute. Well, here we are at our first stop on our mini tour of Alyth. And I'm really sorry we haven't made it into the countryside, and because the farming concerns are so important to our community and to God too. And you're very much in our thoughts as well. But here we are at the War Memorial, one of those marvellous prominent highlights that we have when we come into the town, looking down Alyth Street. I think I chose to come here because the War Memorial is so important for us all. It's such a symbol, isn't it? There are, alas, too many names on it, the poor people who so bravely fell for our country in the world wars, and since then. I think it chimes with me too, because I truly believe that every single person has an important part to play in our society. It's important to friends, family, parents, children, neighbours. As we've all got an individual role to play in our lives, especially at this time, and we're very important to God as well. And the other thing about the War Memorial is that, of course, on Remembrance Sunday, for one day in the year, quite a lot of people gather here, and it's a very, very important moment in their lives and in the world's life too. Well, every single day of your life is important to God as well. He absolutely cares for you every day, every night. You are his child, and that's worth remembering too. Well, here we are at the door of the Alyth Street Hall, and of course the Alyth Street Hall is one of our super halls in Alyth, and in this hall, of course, lots of people absolutely love going to coffee mornings, the Kirk shop, the Scottish country dancing, the badminton, keep fit, you name it, the 50s plus. So many different things happen here and in the other halls in Alyth, and aren't we looking forward to getting back to all those things. What a great day that'll be when it can all reopen again. From our point of view, of course, it all goes to show that God is again not just interested in times of total spirituality, though of course that's so important and such a wonderful thing, but in all the communal and social activities that we can get up with, how we interact with everybody else, and he wants all that to go forward, and he blesses all these activities so much. Now, I'm going to hand you over to Stuart, who is going to be reading our passage from the Bible today.
Today's reading is the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 8, verses 40 to 56. Jairus' daughter and the woman who touched Jesus' cloak. When Jesus returned to the other side of the lake, the people welcomed him because they had all been waiting for him. Then a man named Jairus arrived. He was an official in the local synagogue. He threw himself down at Jesus' feet and begged him to go to his home because his only daughter, who was 12 years old, was dying. As Jesus went along, the people were crowding him from every side. Among them was a woman who had suffered from severe bleeding for 12 years. She had spent all she had on doctors, but no one had been able to cure her. She came up in the crowd behind Jesus and touched the edge of his cloak, and her bleeding stopped at once. Jesus asked, "Who touched me?" Everyone denied it, and Peter said, "Master, the people are all around you and crowding in on you." But Jesus said, "Someone touched me, for I knew it when power went out of me." The woman saw that she had been found out, so she came trembling and threw herself at Jesus' feet. There, in front of everybody, she told them why she had touched him and how she had been healed at once. Jesus said to her, "My daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." While Jesus was saying this, a messenger came from the official's house. "Your daughter has died," he told Jairus. "Don't bother the teacher any longer." But Jesus heard it and said to Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Only believe, and she will be well." When he arrived at the house, he would not let anyone go in with him except Peter, John, and James, and the child's father and mother. Everyone there was crying and mourning for the child. Jesus said, "Don't cry. The child is not dead. She is only sleeping." They all laughed at him because they knew she was dead. But Jesus took her by the hand and called out, "Get up, my child." Her life returned, and she got up at once. And Jesus ordered them to give her something to eat. Her parents were astounded, but Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone what had happened. May God bless these holy readings.
Thanks very much, Stuart. And what a beautiful day it was when Stephen and Stuart went to the square to make that recording of the reading. Of course, the square is absolutely the hub of the town, and it's super to see some of the shops open, and we're hoping and praying that everything can open up as soon as possible. I love that reading where Jesus is in a great crowd of people, and suddenly he feels a wee lady touching him, in need of him, and he says, "Who touched me?" And the disciples said, "How do you mean, Lord? There's so many people around. How do you mean, who touched you?" And he said, "Yes, somebody needed me." And he felt that absolutely. You know, when you and I are in a spot of bother, when we're feeling down, however big a crowd we're in, God absolutely knows what you and I are feeling. Well, here we are now inside Classic Cars with a beautiful car just beside me. Classic Cars is one of our many excellent firms that we are lucky enough to have in Alyth. And it's absolutely, again, at the heart of our faith that God is not just concerned with us when we are in a spiritual mode or feeling religious, but when we're in our working lives as well, with all the skill that goes with it and hard work. Of course, there are many issues of employment just now. We're all worried for businesses and employment and everything like that. God is absolutely concerned too. And our hope and prayer is that the economy can start again worldwide and people may be able to fulfill themselves in the best way that they can. Well, here we are back at the church, and the wind's still a bit ferocious, so we're around the side of it again. But it's lovely to be back at the church again. We've had a wee whistle-stop tour of the parish, and we've only been to a few places, which have been really nice. But of course, there are so many places we could have visited Alyth is so blessed with so many lovely corners and spots and places, and the countryside around us. What a wonderful place it is to live in. I know that there'll be endless debates about how much the government and the governments of the world should get involved and intervene with the different businesses and the economy of the different countries in this difficult time. And there's always very interesting debates about this sort of thing. But equally, you and I think all of us, will know people who are struggling, whether it's family or friends or neighbours, whoever it is. And we sometimes have a quandary about whether we should get involved or not. I think that the example of our Lord Jesus is a very good one. That our Lord God did get involved absolutely in the world. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. And I think that's a great example for us all. But what of course we also need is the wisdom and the skill to know if and when to get involved with other people, and also to always, if we are going to be trying to help other people, always to have that love and compassion that our Lord Jesus showed in everything he did. Here's a wee prayer. Our dear Lord, once more, of course, we pray for anyone who is sick, who is ill, at home or in hospital, anyone who is very ill and dying. And we ask your compassion, your love, to uphold everyone who is grieving at this time. Bless everyone who is working in hospitals or in care homes, doing so well to keep us all safe and healthy, and everyone who's doing those vital jobs which we so appreciate now. Lord, be with everyone who's struggling at this time, even with a bit of light at the end of the tunnel ahead. Lord, be with everyone who has to make very difficult decisions. Lord, if we have an opportunity to help someone else, give us the wisdom and skill to do so, and always may the emotions and the feelings that guide us be those of compassion and of love, which we find in you. Be with us all, today and always. In your name, our Lord Jesus. Amen. Well, I do hope that you have a good week and you can keep well till we meet again. Goodbye.